Hi everyone, my name is Vince Gelman. Thank you so much for joining me. I feel called to do another poetry reading from my book of poetry called Wild Empty Spaces, Poems for the Opening Heart. I was going for a walk today and it just came to me intuitively that it was time to read this particular poem, which is a short poem and one very dear to my heart. You might get a sense that I say that about all my poems, but I would say this one in particular is really very close to my heart. Just the thought of this poem softens me into my heart and opens it. And so I want to share it quite naturally with you. The other reason why I'm choosing this poem is because I just finished cocooning myself for 5 days and writing an article quite intensely, quite passionately, that speaks to what's going on in the world right now. The article is called "The Tragedies of These Dark Times Initiate Us into a Remembrance of Love, Soul, and Our Human Family." And so there's a link for me between this article, which I'm going to provide a link for in the description, and the poem I want to read now. And the poem is called Belonging. Belonging. Please let me know what you think of the article, by the way. I'd love to hear from you. And also, of course, let me know what you think of the poem. So I'm going to read the poem twice and then talk a little bit about what this poem means to me and how it relates to what I wrote in the article and what's unfolding in these very dark, pivotal times that we're in. Belonging. That last tug as everything falls beneath me. That last tug as everything falls beneath me. No longer mattering, no longer mine to travel with. It never was. This dream has run its course, its eyes closed now as the dark night turns at its zenith. At the point I no longer belong, at the point I no longer belong, yet belong to everything. Belonging. That last tug as everything falls beneath me, no longer mattering, no longer mine to travel with. It never was. This dream has run its course, its eyes closed now as the dark night turns at its zenith, as the dark night turns at its zenith. At the point I no longer belong, at the point I no longer belong, yet belong to everything. At the point I no longer belong, yet belong to everything. And isn't that where we are now? Entering deeper and deeper into this dark night. And feeling increasingly as the world around us crumbles that we don't belong. The world that we once belonged to is fading quickly. The communities that we once connected to are fading. Some of us are losing connection with our families, our jobs. And most essential, many of us are losing touch with the self that once identified with all those things, identified with our work, our community, our family. Who am I when my outer world starts to fall away, who am I then? Who am I as the dark night increases and the world I once belonged to fades and fades, and there's more chaos, there's more uncertainty, and I don't know my place of belonging anymore? Who am I then? And so this is indeed a crisis of identity, because we are in a time of crisis all around us. And we've identified with this world for so long, and yet this world is increasingly not making sense. And so how do I continue to fully trust the self that identifies with a world that increasingly doesn't make sense? And so for many, there is and will continue to be an intensification of this crisis of identity as the world we've known slips from our eyes and ears and hands. It fades away. And there's more and more fear, there's more and more anxiety. But what if this crucible, this dark night of the soul that we are in collectively, serves a great purpose? And that is to reveal to us our true place of belonging, which is not in the world. For we are ultimately not of this world. We are transcendent of this world. We are powerful, sovereign souls that can exist in this world, but that are not of this world. And that is our place of belonging. That knowing, that visceral, embodied, heartfelt knowing. And so when there is an opening, when things fall apart as they are, and there's an opening, because there is more space, people are being quarantined, there's space in that. When there is that space and in there is that opening, we can begin to touch into that which we truly are. When that which is temporary, which is our world and my life, when that which is temporary falls away, we can begin to touch that which is eternal, which is not my life, but life itself. And so the deep loss is my life, my world, my understanding of things is the me. But it is also a tremendous opportunity to know the self that is transcendent of all that. All that is limited to this temporal world and the temporary self. And so I love the word belonging because it means to be longing. And throughout our life, underneath all our desire is a longing for divine union. That's ultimately what we long for, is divine union. That is what we long for. And when we finally connect to and embrace and embody that which we long for, we are in a place of belonging. We are in a place of belonging. We are home. And so these are end times, as prophesied by the Mayan calendar, as mythologized in Christianity as the second coming of Christ. as the ending of uh, Kali Yuga and the beginning of the next Satya Yuga, the dawn of a golden age. This is where we are now. It is the end times. It's a glorious ending that we chose to be a part of. Because in the glorious ending, there is a glorious beginning. There is a glorious beginning for all of us. And yet it must get darker. It must get darker. And it will. Things must fall away. There must be a great falling away, which is different, the opposite from the fall from Eden or the fall from grace, or the fall of many advanced civilizations or enlightened civilizations like Atlantis or Lemuria or ancient Egypt. There is a falling, but it's different. It is the opposite. Instead of falling from a high society, we are falling from all that is false. We're falling away from all that is untrue so that we can open to that which is true and always has been true, which is the love of our Holy Spirit, the light of our soul, and so that it can descend into our human form, anchored into our DNA, heaven on earth, and thus we birth the new world, the new humanity through each one of us. So that's what these times are about. And it is why I chose this poem. So I hope this was helpful for you, that it was inspiring. And again, please read the article. Let me know what you think. The link is in the description. And I'll put a link to the book in the description as well. And thank you so much for listening, for watching, for being here with me. Please subscribe, please click notifications, please click like, and I look forward to sharing another video with you soon. Thank you, namaste.